PFF released its top 10 head coaches that are returning this NFL season in the year of 2025, and it is absurd. They have left Kevin O'Connell off of the top 10 list and placed us some other coaches that I believe should not be there. Y'all know we going to talk about it and break it all down right after this.
Welcome to your number one spot for all NFL news and content, NFL Central.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another episode of NFL Central, your number one spot for everything NFL. I'm your host here, Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's episode. So if you're tuned in, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, man. But hey, PFF, they released a top 10 list of top head coaches that are returning for the 2025 NFL season. And if you are here on the YouTube side, I'm going to post it on my screen. But if you are listening on the podcast side, just stay tuned because I'm about to just go through the entire list. So PFF, they released that list and they got the top 10 that is returning. And this is per Dalton Wasserman. I hope I said his name right, but it doesn't really matter, at least when it comes to this list. No disrespect to Dalton. Number one is Andy Reid. Number two, Sean Payton. Then Sean McVay. Then John Harbaugh. Then Mike Tomlin. Then Jim Harbaugh at 6. Kyle Shanahan at 7. Nick Sirianni at 8. Dan Campbell at 9. And Kevin Stefanski at 10. Look, it is what it is. This is the type of stuff that gets me agitated as a guy that is a Chicago Bears fan, but is more of a football fan than anything else. Again, I'm leaving a list up for those that are tuning in so you can go ahead and get a glance at it and you can make your opinions and your thoughts on it. And I'm going to run through it one more time. Andy Reid at 1, Sean McPayton at 2, Sean McVay at 3, John Harbaugh at 4, Mike Tomlin at 5, Jim Harbaugh at 6, Kyle Shanahan at 7, at 8, Nick Sirianni, and at 9, Dan Campbell, and at 10, Kevin Stefanski. Now, I will say that there are some coaches that I like on this list, and I'm not going to sit there and act like I don't, because there are some coaches that I really, really like on this list that's right here and that was given to us by PFF. But there is no way in hell that you are going to sit there and convince me that Mike Tomlin entering this season is a top 5 head coach in the National Football League. That's just my personal opinion. You can sit there and call me whatever type of name you're going to call me. I don't necessarily care. I just normally care about what the facts are. And to keep Kevin O'Connell off of this list, it's blatant disrespect. Kevin O'Connell, 3 seasons for the Minnesota Vikings. Kevin O'Connell, my man, has done tremendous work over there in Minnesota. And right now, his record currently stands 34-17. And last year, he revitalized a quarterback's career in Sam Darnold to the point to where Sam Darnold got over $100 million in a new contract with a new franchise. My man's Kevin O'Connell had Joshua Dobbs come from NASA Airspace Station and come in and play competent football. Had Nick Mullins looking like he can still be a quarterback in this league. Had Kirk Cousins performing at a high level. What the hell are we talking about when it comes to coaches in this top 5 list like Mike Tomlin and Kevin Stefanski? And I'm not saying that Mike Tomlin or Kevin Stefanski should be at the bottom of the league. That's not what I'm saying. But to omit Kevin O'Connell and include Mike Tomlin that high and include Kevin Stefanski at 10 when Kevin Stefanski these last few years since he has gotten rid of Baker Mayfield has been dumpster juice, to say the least. when it comes to wins and losses in the NFL. A lot of the times we like to have those discussions to where there is a conversation that winning is not just a just a quarterback stat, but it's absolutely a fucking head coach stat. It's absolutely a head coach stat. Just because you look at certain teams and you say, hey, can you get the most out of your players? Can you develop said players that are not necessarily the most talented, but they have something in them that you can pull out of them? Come on, y'all. We got to call it how we see it when we see it. We look at Mike Tomlin as one of those best coaches in the National Football Leagues for sure. For sure. The Chicago Bears attempted to trade for him before they signed Ben Johnson. That was some rumors that was rambling out of there. But hey, Mike Tomlin ain't been that damn good these past few seasons. We can hang the laurels, we can hang the hat and give kudos to Mike Tomlin for never having a losing season. But when you go out there and you constantly put up these winning seasons and you constantly get your ass bounced in the first round, at some point we have to look at them and say it's not good enough. When you look at Kevin Stefanski and you look at the way that his team has played and his team has progressed in the NFL, you say, yes, I like certain things that you've done in the NFL, because I don't think that Kevin Stefanski is a bad head coach, but it's not good enough. My man's Kevin O'Connell for the Minnesota Vikings has had the Minnesota Vikings in the playoffs 2 out of the 3 seasons he's been there. What are we talking about right now? And I understand there is some concern heading into the 2025 NFL season when you look at guys like JJ McCarthy and say, I just don't know what he can do. But you cannot sit up there and tell me that Kevin O'Connell is not entering 2025 with one of the most stacked teams in the NFL. All the money that was spent in the trenches this past offseason and then ensuring that the offense still is good enough to win in this league, y'all is tripping. Y'all are tripping when it comes to the PFL top 10 list. I'm not really concerned about how it necessarily edges out from 1 through 10 per se, because there's no way that you're telling me personally, that after 1 year, after sitting out a year out of the NFL, that Sean Payton is better than Sean McVay. So I'm not focused on the necessary ranking, because if you asking me, I'm moving Sean McVay up. I'm moving John Harbaugh up as 1 with Andy Reid, 2 with Sean McVay, 3 with John Harbaugh, in that order for the coaches that are returning for the 2025 season, in that order. And I gotta call a spade a spade. Where the hell is Sean McDermott? It's a whole bunch of Seans. You would think that we're being here rocking Sean John, but we're not. We're not. We ain't rocking Sean John. We just gonna keep it how we gonna call it how we see it. We not. For the list one more time: Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Sean McVay, John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, Jim Harbaugh, Kyle Shanahan, Nick Sirianni, Dan Campbell, and Kevin Stefanski. However you sit up there and chalk up this top 10 list, Mike Tomlin and Kevin Stefanski should not be there. Sean McDermott should be in there. Kevin O'Connell should be in there. I don't have the problem with any of those other names being in there per se, if we're just talking about names entering the 2025 season and how it should play out with these teams. That is ultimate disrespect. That is ultimate being negligent. That is ultimate price of being naive to what the hell has transpired with all of these teams. Get Kyle Shanahan out of there. Move them down to number 10 and get Kevin Stefanski and Mike Tomlin out of there. They are not top 10 coaches heading into 2025 when you got guys like Kevin O'Connell and Sean McDermott for the Buffalo Bills sitting there. We got to call it how we see it, bro. Kyle Shanahan, his case is, hey, we dealt with a lot of injuries. I understand that to a certain degree, but at the same time, it is what it is. This is the ranking heading into 2025. Like, how the hell can you sit up there and have Kyle Shanahan as a top 10 head coach heading into 2025. He didn't even make the playoffs. How do you look at Mike Tomlin and say, yes, he had winning season, yes, he made the playoffs, but he keep getting his ass spanked early in the first round, and not just getting spanked, getting blowed out to oblivion? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And what about Kevin Stefanski? I like Kevin Stefanski, and y'all got me up here going crazy about this whole entire thing. I like Kevin Stefanski. I really, really think that Kevin Stefanski is a good head coach. But for the last few seasons, Kevin Stefanski has not been able to get the best out of the quarterback that he's had and all of that stuff. Like, that makes no sense to me. He has not been able to get the most out of Deshaun Watson, to see Deshaun Watson, the guaranteed $1 million man, to go out there and perform for his offense and perform for his team, to where we get to see glimpses of a situation to where we looking like, hey, this might be Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans. No, we ain't seen that. We haven't seen that. So how can we sit up here and put him in the top 10? That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Especially when you look at a Sean McDermott who had a high turnover on the offensive side of the ball. And when you losing guys like Stephon Diggs and a number of other guys, and you drafting rookies, and then you say, hey, we going to the AFC Championship. Boom, you good. We're gonna put him in that top 10. Then you look at Kevin Stefanski. Yes, their playoff was a blunder, but not more so than a blunder of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's call a spade a spade. Not more so of a blunder than the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Kevin Stefanski didn't even make the playoffs. Are we giving these guys credence and credit based off name and reputation? No, that's how it shouldn't work. We like Mike Tomlin. I'm pretty sure everybody listening right now likes Mike Tomlin. I'm pretty sure everybody likes Mike Tomlin. Everybody. There is nothing bad you could say about Mike Tomlin other than him getting into the playoffs and getting his ass kicked. That's it. Other than that, it's not much bad you could say about Mike Tomlin. But the reality is when you come in and you do top 10 rankings, we have to have some type of credence, some type of credibility, some type of good reporting or something, and some type of foresight to understand that just because Aaron Rodgers is now in Pittsburgh, it doesn't mean that these guys are going to go out there and somehow win the Super Bowl. It doesn't mean that they're going to go out there and somehow win the Super Bowl. Kevin Stefanski is dealing with 2 rookie quarterbacks, a backup who was once a starter and nobody really wanted him, and a 40-year-old off the couch. What are we talking about here? It's just nonsense. This is complete nonsense, and it's completely absurd. There are coaches that are more deserving than this. And I know we don't take PFF for what it really is. You know what I'm saying? You look at it, you take it for what it is, and you just move on. You say, hey, maybe I like it, maybe I don't. But to have Kevin O'Connell out there, somebody not doing their job. Somebody's not doing their job correctly. And that's the standard we have to hold these guys to. Somebody's not doing their job correctly. That's just how we have to look at it. We have to look at these type of situations and say somebody is not doing their damn job correctly. Literally. They're not. Because that is crazy. We look at Kevin O'Connell as one of the best offensive minds in his league behind Andy Reid and Sean McVay. We do. And then you can start making your decisions on if it's Sean Payton after that, if it's now Ben Johnson that's going to be right after that, or in that, you know what I'm saying, in that type of tier. But hey, he got the record to prove it. He got the record to prove it. That's just absurd to me, bro. I just don't understand it 100%. Like, and y'all understand, like, when you go out there and you understand and you love football to this degree, you want everybody to be on par. And I'm not necessarily saying that they have to agree with me, but at least if you don't agree with me, make sense. This makes no sense. This makes no sense. Mike Tomlin, his last 5 years, has had 5 different starting quarterbacks. Kevin Stefanski has not made the playoff. He made the playoffs 2 years ago, but then after that, what? He been trying to dig and fight and pull and trying to figure it out. And if we basing it off 2024, it's a hell no for Mike Tomlin and Kevin Stefanski. Get guys like Sean McDermott that right. Give guys like Kevin O'Connell that love. That's all I'm saying. Because that's absurd. That's absurd. It really is. But hey, just wanted to come in and give y'all something quick and let y'all know how we feeling about this whole thing right here. Talking about it, breaking it all down when it comes to the coaches that are going into the 2025 season. And I put the list up there. And just to give it to you one last time before you get up out of here. Andy Reid at 1, Sean Payton at 2, Sean McVay at 3, John Harbaugh at 4, Mike Tomlin at 5, Jim Harbaugh at 6, Kyle Shanahan at 7, Nick Sirianni at 8, Dan Campbell at 9, Kevin Stefanski at 10. And it's just even more absurd to see a Super Bowl winning head coach and Nick Sirianni be at 8. And he was in the Super Bowl 3 years ago. It's just absurd. What are we doing at PFF? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. What are we doing? How the hell is Nick Sirianni ranked lower than a Kyle Shanahan? And I understand he been to the Super Bowl, but he ain't win nothing. And last year, his team didn't even make the playoffs. Don't get me started again. Don't get me started again. But hey, I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of NFL Central, man. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. And then you go ahead and you drop your comments in the comment box below. Thank y'all so much for the continued support. Make sure you always love football. I am out of here and I'm done with today's episode. Thank y'all, man. I'm out of here. Peace.